Thank you, Lana. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I think it's interesting, though, on page, Lana's talking about what you talk about on page 159, that as there are individual pain bodies that each of us carries because of whatever negativity happened in our lives and we didn't completely deal with that at the moment, that there is also a collective pain body that nations carry and races carry. And you say the collective racial pain body is pronounced in Jewish people who suffered persecution over many centuries. Not surprisingly, it's strong as well in Native Americans whose numbers were decimated, whose culture all but destroyed by the European settlers, in Black Americans too, for whom the collective pain body is pronounced, their ancestors violently uprooted, beaten into submission, and sold into slavery. The foundation of American economic prosperity rested on the labor of 4 to 5 million Black slaves. In fact, the suffering inflicted on Native and Black Americans has not remained confined to those two races, but has become part of the collective American pain body. It is always the case that both victim and perpetrator suffer the consequences of any acts of violence, oppression, or brutality. For what you do to others, you do to yourself. I think that there is not an understanding, and actually Senator Obama in his speech a couple of weeks ago was trying to speak to this.
Yes.
This collective pain body that America holds. And I think a lot of Americans, number one, don't know it exists and want to deny that it does exist because they say, I didn't have anything to do with slavery.
Yes.
Or I didn't have anything to do with the Native Americans.
Yes.
Correct?
That's right. Yes.
And not to recognize it is what? Is to be in denial of what is the truth.
Yes, and then it continues to be there without you knowing it. And,
that's right.
So that's...
Because the recognition of it is the beginning of being able to change it, right?
Yes, that's right. And I believe, since you mentioned Senator Obama, there was this controversy about the pastor who was making certain remarks. I believe that the pastor who has probably helped many, many people over many years, occasionally, when he speaks, as far as I can tell, he gets taken over by the pain body. And then the pain body speaks through him. And it's understandable, and I believe Obama understands that, although he may not use the term or be familiar with the term pain body, but he understands the wider context for those remarks, and he realizes that they arise out of the collective pain. So, and once you see that these things arise out of the collective pain, you can see them in a much wider perspective. And you don't personalize what this person is saying. It's not personal anymore. He's expressing collective pain.
You also talk about this when it comes to women. Pretty revolutionary. On page 155, you say, the suppression of the feminine principle, especially over the past 2,000 years, has enabled the ego to gain absolute supremacy in the collective human psyche. Although women have egos, of course, the female form is less rigidly encapsulated than the male and has greater openness and sensitivity toward other life forms. If the balance between male and female energies, I found this so fascinating, had not been destroyed on our planet, you say, the ego's growth would have been greatly curtailed. With many people becoming more conscious, the ego is losing its hold on the human mind because the ego was never as deeply rooted in women. It's losing its hold on women more quickly than on men.
Yes.
Because, you know what, reading this, as a female, living in the world today, able to make choices and be my own person and express myself, I had forgotten about the years and years of torture and suppression and, killing of women for the most natural things, because you liked animals, because you were a midwife, because you were a woman who wanted to have a voice.
Yes.
Tortured, killed.
Yes.
Hundreds of millions of women.
Yes. And it's what I'm saying is it's the arising ego.
And that happened because of the ego in the male.
Yes. Yes. So it's not the male as such. It was the growing
Rising
ego in the male that saw the feminine principle and the feminine energy as a threat because it could not fully establish itself in that.
You believe we would have had a new Earth a lot sooner if there had been not the suppression of the female?
Yes, probably, yes.